Main event.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the 148th episode of Collecting Profit. But this one, we were talking Saturday night's main event, and we got some other sports talk. Got the World Series going on, so we are going to hit that also. We're going to talk about the rest. Let's go, Mets. Way to go, Dom. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dom. Good to see you, buddy.
Glad you are here. Thanks for being here. We are going to talk baseball, Dom, so don't go too far away. But another PLE. We're coming down to the end of the year. We got October. We don't get John Cena in this one, but John Cena has 4 appearances left. He has 2 Monday Night Raws. He has Survivor Series. I'm sorry, he has Survivor Series, and then he has the Saturday night main event in December, which will be in Washington, D.C. for his final match. Hey, Maddie.
This is the field general.
How's it going? Finally?
I said, is it going to be versus the field general, John?
He might. Maybe Daniels will go ahead and come out in his, in his uniform and everything. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Redskins on the match.
Yeah.
There you go.
So let's get into this. And, hey, Chuck.
Chuck. John.
How are you, Chuck? Big John. Happy birthday.
Boy. What's up, man?
I got it. So, we got it. It's, the 1st of November. 4 matches. Hey, Lockin, how you doing, buddy? Yeah. 4 matches.
There's only one I want to see.
I'll give them credit. They are all at least they're all for titles.
True.
So, at least that's halfway. And that's but I hate to say it. I think that's the only good thing about this. The only good thing about this is that there's 4 championships.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so.
Yeah.
So we got the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. You got Penta, Rusev, and you got the champion Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. I really don't know about this one. I was thinking, I thought about, Penta going ahead and winning. But I'm just not sure if they want to take the belt off of Dom yet. Because if you take the belt off of Dom, I don't think he's ready for one of the heavyweight titles. So if you go ahead and you pull it off of him, what are you doing other than maybe having him spearhead the breakup of the Judgment Day? So
that's I can see there.
I think in a way, Dom's gonna win.
I'm with you, man. I think Dirty Dom's going to win as well, based solely on that mustache alone. But secondly, like you said, I don't really think he's ready for a main event, no pun intended, run, which would be a bigger title. I could see him bouncing around with that Intercontinental title a little bit, though. I've been waiting to see them actually push Penta, and now that Rusev's back, I'm waiting to see them give him a push too. So, theoretically, it could go to one of those other guys, but I think the momentum's still with Dom.
Well, before you go, John, see, that's my thing. That's one of the issues that I have with WWE right now. Okay, so if you want to push Penta and you want to push Rusev, where are you pushing them to? Right? Because, right? Could you see a world championship belt on Penta?
No.
Could you, so that's the only thing. Johnny?
I kind of agree with you guys that not to take it off of Dom, but he's not going to win clean.
Yeah.
He's going to either have the Chad Gable wannabes come in, or they'll use something or walk away, something just stupid. If they do put it on like Penta and or Rusev, you're going to end up having those two go at each other, I think, if they do it that way.
Yeah, I just think once again, I've said it. I go, to me, there's too much, and I know it's weird, and maybe it's just us as fans' expectations are too high. But to me, it just seems as though there's too much mid-level talent,
Yeah.
and there's only two mid-level belts.
Yeah.
So maybe those guys aren't supposed to have titles.
Not yet, at least.
I mean, I don't know, but Chuck is going with Dom. Dom is going with Dom. I mean, Dom, it's hard not. I mean, you pick yourself, Dom. I mean, come on, have a little bit of a challenge, would you please?
I mean, if they're using it as a catalyst to break up the Judgment Day, which we can all see is coming, I'm pretty sure.
Big John says
Do
Dom.
if he loses and they break up that, does Dom go face? He just got so much good heat being a heel. That's the only problem.
He has. I'm not comparing the two, but he has that. He has that Seth Rollins type heat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas where the fans cheer, they know he's not supposed to be the good guy, but they still cheer for him anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like almost. It almost kind of reminds me of back in the 90s with the Attitude Era, where like the bad guys were the cool ones to cheer for.
Yeah.
Almost like that era with those guys like Rollins or Dirty Dom. You know what I mean? Where it's fun to kind of cheer for them regardless of what they're doing.
He loses to John Cena. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, the only way you maybe use. So to me, if you use this as a catalyst to break up the Judgment Day,
Mhm.
the Judgment Day has to come down and cost Dom the title.
Right. Which is not out of the realm of things.
Which is definitely not out of the realm. Definitely not out of the realm. So now we have the what is this? This is the WrestleMania rematch, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Of champion Tiffany Stratton against the Storm, Jade Cargill. I don't know, Anthony.
So it seems like every single time that we're talking Tiffany with the belt, it's like, is this going to be the time she finally loses it and they finally do something with someone else? I'm kind of in the ballpark with Big John as well. I think this could finally be that time where they're going to finally move the belt off of her onto someone else, and it's a good opportunity to make Jade look really strong here because she's held the belt for decent amount of time and she's proven herself to be a decent champion. So I think that it's a really good chance for Jade to come out looking really strong.
Chuck thinks a potential squash match. Locking Jade shouldn't be anywhere near a championship title. John, what do you think?
I kind of agree with Locke, and it's just I don't think it's her time yet. But I can see where Anthony's coming at to put it on somebody else. She has had it for long enough to prove that she is a good champion. That, I mean, if they put it on Jade, I don't see Jade holding it very long. I think she drops it to somebody else, or possibly back to Tiffany at maybe WrestleMania or Survivor Series. So I'm gonna go with Tiffany on this one, though.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. I would think Jade, if Bianca was close to being back, because they could have that feud there. I do think that you could probably look at a Tiffany Stratton of going ahead and and losing the belt, taking some time off. Like if in Chuck's way, if it's like a squash match where they hurt her to get her, off TV for a little while, to give her a break. I mean, because again, she's been champion, she's been champion for so long and everything, but I don't know. I just don't have I mean, Tiffany has gotten better. I can't say the same thing for Jade, and I think this is where WWE is, and or or I should say, TKO is hurting wrestlers like Jade by not having house shows where they're not getting in the ring in front of a crowd, more and more.
Well,
I
that
agree.
and more training as they're doing it. So
Right, yeah, right. I agree. Tiffany's reign has been, boring, but if you want an exciting champion, then you're looking at the people that you don't want to be champion. If you're looking at an exciting champion,
I
and
don't
you
think
want
Jade-
Charlotte Flair, and
No.
and nobody wants to see her be the champion.
Mm-mm.
Because I mean, I guess you can say, Bianca, but to be honest with you, Bianca's reigns weren't very exciting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just really don't know about this one. I think, I mean, I have a funny feeling they are going to go ahead and they are going to give it to Jade. I think it sets up something along the lines of Tiffany, either going away for a while. Again, to me, it would be one of those things where if you're going to do it, and I really think you got to do it the way Chuck says, but a squash match where she hurts her,
Well,
Tiffany has to go away, and then she is then surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. She wins the Rumble. She gets her title shot back at WrestleMania against Jade. That's the way I see it going on. Yeah, she should, but she's in that other, she's doing the EO Sky. I mean, she's involved with that type of stuff. So, but that's to me, if they're going to put it on Jade, that's the way it has to go. I could see again, Tiffany's been around, for a while, she's been champion for a while. Give her a rest. I mean, that's what they seem to do, right? Got people who've had it for a while, they kind of give them a rest if they have somebody to take over. I don't know. I think they're looking at it from a standpoint of from a singles competition thing that for Jade is probably the best bet, for that point right now. But I don't see her having a long, as long a reign as, let's say, like a Tiffany does.
no.
Yeah, me either.
All right, then we are coming back with Cody and Drew. John, what do you think?
This is Cody all the way. They're not ready to take it off of him yet.
I'm with John on that. I definitely don't think they're ready to take it off of Cody, and I don't think that Drew's built up enough to be a believable person to take it off of him right now.
Right.
I think that in real life, like Drew would probably murder Cody,
Right.
but I think in the world of WWE, it's going to be Cody retaining.
Oh, we got Chuck going Cody.
I
Dom
mean,
going Drew.
the only way that this could change possibly is if somehow, what's his name comes back.
Orton?
No. Well, that's a possibility there too. Or what the hell? Fatu.
I just heard a report that said that I saw something that said that Fatu was going to be out for a little bit longer. Something a non-wrestling related injury. Now I don't know if that's a work or what, but that I heard that came out.
It comes out to try to help Cody, but ends up messing up and Cody loses. I don't know, but this is going to be Cody, I think, all the way here.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, we're going to settle into Cody, but I think we've talked about they have moved so much of the potential main event guys to Raw that unless some of those guys come back, this is what you're going to get. Well, you're going to get Cody against Randy. like who else is there on SmackDown?
Yeah.
True. Someone has to interfere because that's usually what happens.
Right.
Is all of a sudden a Damian Priest or an Aleister Black gonna kind of move up in those echelon things? Obviously we see how much they thought of Priest as a champion.
Yeah.
Just like they didn't leave the belt on him for very long.
I don't see either of those guys getting involved in this, but I could see, like you said, Norton. If it's just to work with Fatu, him. Other than that, I don't know of anybody else, unless they bring somebody from Raw out to mess with the event. But
and I know people are saying, hey, you have some of these guys from Solo yet again. Well, yeah, it's possible, but I think
he's more in for the U.S. title, trying to get that back.
And I think there's going to be some kind of angle or something with him and the MFTs and the Wyatt Six for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, I see no reason to take it off of Cody. I don't. He lost it at WrestleMania. He got it back from Cena at SummerSlam. You're going to take it off of him on a PLE on a Saturday night main event.
Yeah.
To me the thing is with Drew. Unless there's no kind of plan whatsoever to have Drew win the belt again. What are you doing with this guy? The guy's extremely talented, but what are you doing with him?
Yeah. Crazy.
With I've
heard that too.
War games somehow. Oh wow.
Where Brock is going to join them and get probably one or two other guys. So,
but I can't. Look, to me, I can't see why they would go ahead and take it off of Cody after just winning it at SummerSlam here. But anything's possible. I don't know. I guess I know one title is going to change hands because it's up for grabs, right? And that one is in this match here. So do they keep the other three on the champions? To me, it's one of those things where if for some reason they take it off of Dom and some reason they take it off of Tiffany, I can't see them going for a clean sweep and taking it off of Cody also.
Yeah, no.
For this one here, I don't know, man. There's part of me that sees it as an opportunity for them to give Punk his roses and let him go ahead and have, the title. But then if you have Jay win, again, does he, I understand the being over part. I understand the wow, no matter whether you like him or not, when you're in the arena and that music hits, everybody stands up and is waving their hands and all this kind of stuff. I go ahead and I get that part and he's t-shirts and sunglasses and all the other things. I don't know. I just don't see him as leading the company. And I don't necessarily, honestly, I don't necessarily think Punk either. So either one of these guys, again, to me, is going to be it's going to be another one of those, it's not going to be a very long reign. They're not putting the belt on either one of these two guys for a year or more. So, I think they give it to Punk more from a sentimental type thing to give him his little bit of a reign, and then maybe we see a Jey Uso crash out. So, we got Punk. We got Chuck had Punk. Dom had Punk. Dawkins he doesn't really give a crap.
On the Punk train as well. I think that they're not going to take it off of him just yet. I don't think he's going to be a long-term solution, like you said, but I don't think he's going to be that short-term of one either. So like you said, they're going to let him have it for at least a little bit, and then they'll put it on someone else in a big way at some point. One of these big events.
Yeah, Johnny.
If you go with the sheets, as I call it, possibility that they do the Jay winning it, and him and his brother go to WrestleMania. Again, we've already seen that match. I can't see him dropping the belt to his brother there, so that would kind of make no sense. But I could see it possibly being, if Jay wins, Gunther comes back to challenge him for it and takes it off him like a month later.
So Jay takes it up of Gunther. Gunther takes it off of Jay. Then Gunther takes it off of Jay again.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there some other thing that they could do with the whole Roman Reigns piece of what's been going on? The way he's been talking to him.
Does Roman come in and interfere to give him the win? I mean, that just... And then Roman goes after him for it. I could see it possibly being Punk winning and Roman facing him maybe for the title, but I don't know. I think I'm going to lean with the Punk on this one just because I don't, like I said, the whole damn Jay versus Jimmy doesn't make sense.
Well, I think that's where they have, they've somewhat have put themselves in a little bit of a corner. Does Punk go ahead and win? And then there's something that comes out with, Lesnar and the Vision.
What's up, hobbyist? Christian?
Hey, Christian, how you doing, buddy?
That's a possibility. The Vision comes out to beat the crap out of both of them. And then you have maybe Reigns and Jimmy come out to kind of be with them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just don't like. It's weird. Again, even like Larkin said, this is just. I mean, it's just crap.
Yeah. Because I don't see them bringing Lesnar out here. I can see them doing like that on a Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman says, we got a new member and this is who it is type of thing. But I watched Monday night. And it was the worst.
That's very true.
Raw was probably the worst Raw I've ever seen. It was terrible. There was nothing good at it all.
Yeah, the product has not been, and I think I think we look at it from a standpoint of is that these storylines, whether it's this storyline here, whether it's this, why? Because he kicked Cody in the head and put him through the table, but didn't they have that match again?
Yep.
Okay, so now you're doing it again. This one here, we saw this at WrestleMania. It was so bad they had to cut. They told them to cut it short.
Yep.
Like when have you ever seen like a 5 or if it was a planned squash match or something? When have you ever seen a middle of the card match go like 6.5, 7 minutes at Mania?
And Larkin, yeah, I did. I think you're going to see that's going to end real soon. I think.
Yeah, I think the best thing that they could do would be to revive the network.
Yeah.
Jay or the Vision, Lesnar, and Jimmy cost them. Yeah. So you're thinking Jay, or you get one of those ones that cost them. I see that. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, like I said, and then the scary thing is this probably has the best chance of being the best match of the night.
Yeah.
And I bet you anything it's the first match of the night.
Yeah.
Probably is.
Because then after that you'll probably do the Drew McIntyre and then have the women's and then have the Punk Jey Uso one's going to end it.
Right. And
unless they change it and put the Cody Rhodes because he's their man.
I think you'll see Punk and Jay at the end, in my opinion, because
That
they're
makes
crowning
sense.
a new champion.
Right.
You know, so I could see that going ahead and being done, you know, that way. But I mean, you know, again, look at storylines. What story? Like here we are, we're sitting here, we're like, okay, but if you know, if you put it on Jade, you're putting it on Jade so you can go ahead and potentially have her go against Bianca. Bianca's still out. We don't know when Bianca's coming back with her hand unless there has been talk and everything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything on, you know, on X or anything, you know, along those lines of somebody talking about what's going on with her.
Unless they're keeping it really secret.
You know. Drew, Cody, what does that push?
Nothing.
You know.
Unless you get somebody that interferes that, like, I don't know, like I said, it has to be somebody interfering in that match to make it any type of storyline happy. Or happen, sorry.
You think there's going to be a lot of people paying for this one?
You don't have to because it's on NBC.
It's on Peacock.
Peacock and NBC. It's Peacock or NBC or both?
I think both, possibly. I saw it said Peacock.
No.
So
nice. Well, it's better than the, you know, more expensive way that you had to watch PLE.
This would not be a $30 PLE at all.
Yeah, no,
no,
not worth $30.
Heck no, man. None of those matches is worth. You know, no single match there is worth $30.
Dom says just Peacock.
Just Peacock. Maybe that's why they're starting at 7:00.
Could be.
It's on Peacock. But I don't, you know, I mean, you know, again, you know, we've talked about it. I just don't, for the life of me, I have no idea what the hell has happened to this company. I mean, it literally doesn't make any sense as to, you know, where they were. It seemed to be so cool that, you know, people were into wrestling, and you know, and now it's like, yeah.
If they didn't make it all about the money, it'd be pretty decent, but
True.
It's all about the money for them now. And it's like, who cares about storylines? Let's just do this. This will work. People love to see this again.
Yeah.
It's the 17th time we've done it, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
the only one that has a storyline possible is the last match. And the first and the last are the only two that possibly could have something come out of it. Right.
And I think if it's Jay, it's something with you know, it could be Jimmy, but it could be Roman, right? You have two things that could potentially go there. But the truth of the matter, but the truth is this: if you let Jay have it with the thought of Jimmy versus Jay, or Roman versus Jay as a main event, as a close the show match of one of the two nights at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, ain't nobody going to be happy about that.
I mean, if you did do that, if it had to be the Saturday night, Sunday night wouldn't do any good for them.
You know,
they actually close out Mania to have that match. No.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I you know, it was funny. We would I'm in a wrestling chat on X and everything, and I said, you know, I don't mind coming back. I'd love to hear that entrance music, you know, and stuff. But after catching some of his recent or most recent stuff on AEW, I think he's getting to the point where he doesn't need to be in the ring anymore.
Which one?
Jericho for sure.
I know Edge is not coming back because he's already stated on many videos I've seen that he feels he's done all that he can do in WWE. Now, Jericho, on the other end, is in talks with WWE about possibly coming back because I think to end his career there and maybe get put into the Hall of Fame.
Not pushing anyone under 40. What kind of freaking mistake is that, Larkin? I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. You know, the other thing I was thinking of is, you know, for the Drew Cody, and I don't think any of them are ready, you know, but could a Obafemi, you know, have some kind of, you know, run in, you know, something like that? Could he be the one who comes in? But again, he's a guy who was cheered for. He's a guy who was liked. So that would, you know, what do you do there? You know, from that standpoint, I don't necessarily know if it would be Trick Williams. I just don't know if those guys are, you know, how do you put them in that kind of spotlight right away? You
Yeah.
know, so I don't know. Again, you know, it's like Cody has nobody, and I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to see Randy versus Cody. I just don't think that would be good.
No. I mean, if they built a story up long enough, it could be, but you know they're not going to do that.
And the way you'd have to have the big thing would be this. The way that storyline really, in my opinion, only works if you for some reason think about it would be heel Cody.
Exactly. Keep Randy the face, have the heel be Cody.
Because I don't think it does any good with you know, with what's his name, Orton being the heel.
You think Cody would want to go heel again?
I know he's talked about it, but he doesn't know when he wants to do it.
I mean, you know, Anthony, to me, I'm just wondering if you know, if you're Cody, and if, you know, we'll say Triple H because we'll make believe that he's still running it.
We know he's not, but yeah.
You know, but if we say, you know, if Triple H says to him, "Hey, Cody, you know, a heel turn would be good for you on your terms when you're ready," and then you would think Cody would have to sit back and go, "Okay, if I turn heel, how does that work? Where who are the faces? Because it's not Drew."
No.
You know, it's not Cena. I mean, it's Cena, but it's not Cena because he gone.
Yeah.
I think if they were going to turn Cody when he was in the match with John Cena last time, would have been the time to do it. Because John was turning back to a face, they could have turned Cody heel right there and made it. But I think they might have blown a chance there with that.
Yeah. So I don't know where they're going. I don't understand where they could possibly go. I don't know what their thought process is anymore. You know, I look at it, like I said, you know, they have a bunch of guys who are mid-level talent, you know, and stuff. And I don't know, you know, we talk about Jay and Punk. We know where Punk is at his age and where he is in his career, and we see where Jay is, you know. Is this one of those things where, Jay, you had the IC title, it didn't work out that well. You had the world title once, didn't work out that well. Is this a potential put the belt on him for the third time as a single? And it's like, look, this is your shot. If you don't figure out how to go ahead and make this whole thing work, it's not, you know, it's not about just getting the crowd doing this, you know, the whole time and everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're talking about being the lead of the company, the face of the company, you know, being the guy out there. This is your final shot. After that, either you're a mid-card single guy, or you better hope that Jimmy doesn't really want to be a singles wrestler and he wants to go back being a tag team, and you guys go back to being a tag team. And you know, by the way, we don't give a shit about tag team division.
It's true.
I mean, at this point, do they care about any division?
No. I don't see Breaker being a champ till probably mid next year, if that, like SummerSlam maybe.
Yeah, Fatu. I don't know. Like I said, you know, Fatu. They said he was out at the beginning parts of 2026. I don't know what that does for him. Stephanie and Julia are really good. I agree with that. But you think about it from a standpoint, Larkin. they're still going to have to wrestle, Becky Lynch and and Tiffany and Jade. They're still going to have to wrestle those girls, those ladies, I should say. So I don't know what they do. That again, it's really.
And you still got to factor in AJ Lee at some point again.
What is she gonna do? And the whole thing with with Becky. Now, and then the other night, Mac, Pierce wanted to give Maxine a third crack at Becky, but then she was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm ready yet. I got to do some more stuff, and I'll let you know." And Pierce was like, "No problem. When you're ready, you got the shot."
I think if anything, they'll end up putting that belt on AJ Lee during something going on, but we'll see.
I get it, but has she done anything since the mixed tag match?
Nope.
At least Nikki Bella went up against Roxanne, and she looked, she
looked good, but you knew she was putting Roxanne over. You could see it.
Right. Oh, AJ's on a book tour. Well,
not saying she couldn't come back for a match, believe me.
She can't get off a book tour to fly in for a Monday night, do a match, and then fly back out wherever she needs to go to. I mean, kind of crazy. That's that's bad and everything. But I don't know. We will see.
SmackDown's going to be this week.
I don't know. Like you said, I wonder. Does something happen on SmackDown to warrant adding a fifth match to Saturday? I mean, you're on Peacock. You're starting at 7:00. That's the other thing I saw. The start time said 7 p.m. start time.
So who is the women's tag team over there?
The only tag team is Charlotte and Alexa.
They don't have one on both brands?
No, they only have one women's title. One women's tag team.
Yeah, they don't really have much of that. It's like, I'm thinking of what they could do if they've had another match. Maybe the men's tag team, but that leaves you with one women's match. I could see them adding another women's match somehow from SmackDown. I don't know who or what or.
Well,
here's the question: if they add another match, would it be any better than what they already have on the card?
No. It's not going to help any, but it would just give you an extra match. But
yeah.
It just gives you a little more time on, on Peacock.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're talking, that's a 2-hour show at best.
Yeah.
I mean, with commercials.
And maybe that's what Peacock gave them.
Oh, that's a good point. If they do add another match, then Jade Tiffany would definitely, it would definitely lean towards that being a squash.
That's something that could have happened too. But Peacock said, "Look, we're going to give you 2 hours, so figure something out."
Yeah,
because they are, like you said, they are starting it an hour earlier than normal. So maybe there was something there they had to go with.
Yeah, Peacock. What? I mean, college football. Are they showing Notre Dame at 9:00? I mean, is Notre Dame playing, a team out in California?
Never know.
Look over here real quick and just see if there's anything on there.
But as far as Netflix go, if you guys got Netflix and you're looking for a documentary to watch, it's called Wrestlers. And it's about OVW. And it's actually it's fairly, it's interesting seeing the whole, because you're seeing the not the behind the scenes stuff as in kind of like what WWE did in Unreal, but just the stuff of putting on the show, seeing the wrestlers, in the locker room, and and seeing them on, what a small independent, wrestling thing has to go through just to survive and stuff like that and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because they have, part of it is that they had two guys, and I don't know, I mean, that, I mean, maybe they like wrestling. I'm not 100% sure, that bought in as part owners and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
one guy's, is on Kentucky sports radio all the time. So he has a radio show, and he thinks he's kind of famous. I have a radio show in Kentucky, so I am kind of famous.
Well, looking at Peacock, they have USC and Nebraska at 7:00 too that night. So that's kind of odd that they would have them on the same time. But
yeah, that's interesting. That's gonna take a chunk, at least out of California and Nebraska, tuning in.
Oh, of course. But definitely, so if you have Netflix, there's 7 episodes. Each one's about a little less than an hour, about 55 minutes and everything. I don't know about. I had the last episode to watch, which was the the end one. So what it is, it starts off, and now this kind of this is taking them through traveling around the state of Kentucky, to try and do some stuff. And I mean, it was crazy. Like they had, they were talking. They had one of their shows was on pay-per-view for something, and they're like, "So, how'd we do on buys?" They're like, "Man, we need about 400 to go ahead and break even. 500 would be great and everything." And they're like, "How many do we get?" 74.
I mean, I did like the Unreal. I thought that was pretty interesting. I kind of hope they do a second one, but we all know what really goes on backstage anyway. Most of them are all friends and going to dinner together and driving together and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the same. So like I say, it's part of it is you do see the Unreal stuff, like when you watch Unreal and you see Triple H in the room, with the writers and everything. So Al Snow is one of the owners of OVW. And he's old school. He doesn't really care for these two guys that come in and everything, and Al is one way the whole time and stuff. And
he knows what everybody wants.
Does he still have head?
I don't remember seeing her in his office as a prop or anything, but you see him going ahead and talking about, hey, here's what we need to do for this story. Here's what we need to do for that story. So like you see some of that same stuff, but you see it on a different scale. There you go.
Everybody wants.
You see it on a different scale, how different it is with a smaller, independent, wrestling company and stuff.
Right. They haven't contacted you yet, have they, Anthony? TKO?
No. I wouldn't last one match right now with the way my back is. That's why I had to move over to recliner. I couldn't even sit here for a podcast.
You could be a manager.
Yeah, my days are over, unfortunately. But I can still reminisce with you boys.
Man, it's yeah, and like I was saying, you see those guys, again, if you have some time, sit down, watch, the first one or two, and and you just Anthony, I know you would relate a lot to it.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? It being a little,
I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, a local independent and everything.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
it'll give me something to do Friday night when Irene goes to work.
Yeah. Like I said, I've enjoyed it so far. I had the last episode to watch.
I've been watching the Dallas Cowboy one that's on there. Of course, I skipped over the year they beat the Steelers because no one wants to see that.
So just a heads up, it's 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I can't believe the Jays. I thought they would have been done, deflated, after that 18-inning game.
I mean, there's still plenty of time here, but I mean, Let's just see.
I just don't want a team from Canada winning. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know. But basketball's going on, football, hockey. It's that one time, when you have, what was it the other night? Or was it Monday night? Because they played 3 nights in a row, right? I think it was like Monday night was one of those rare nights where all 4 sports were playing.
That's an interesting what Danny just put in there. It's kind of interesting.
Uso beats Punk. Punk wins the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Punk Cody Mania. Breaker takes the title from Jay, and then it's Braun versus Roman. Ooh.
That would actually be a worthwhile watch to a point.
Yeah.
Maybe you should book.
That's a great idea. So Danny, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for
but that really is not, you can see they gotta figure something out. Especially, you're gonna go, you look at what they're doing, to me, think about it. WrestleMania 42, you don't have another WrestleMania in the US for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Because
You gotta make this one good.
Because 2027's in Saudi Arabia. And we've seen in the past that when they go to Saudi Arabia, storylines mean absolutely shit. It's whatever the prince wants.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would definitely make a good Mania, though. I think
That would make a really good
Braun
Mania.
versus Roman would be a
Chris wants to go over like David Arquette at the end. Of the world champion.
But so they but I don't know. They're gonna have to do something. And they gotta start to build something if they're going back to Vegas. Because for the prices and everything, and even people said, it's like you talk about going back to Vegas, but when you listen to people talk, they're saying, Vegas, they're not drawing like they used to. People aren't going out there and stuff like that. It's not cheap like it used to be. Can't have Punk as transitional champion for Breaker. Jay won't lose anything from that because Breaker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jay is one of those guys that from a live crowd perspective, forget us that don't go, right? But from a live crowd perspective, to me, he has shown he doesn't need a belt. The crowd is going to be behind him almost no matter what. So the thing, that there was all this talk about, well, they're setting him up to have some kind of crash out and so on and so forth. What's the benefit of doing that? What's the benefit of potentially turning a bunch of people against them?
agreed.
That's the part that gets me. So, Jay, we're giving you the big push. Jay, we're giving you, you're going to be on TV all the time. You're going to be at the PLEs. But you know what, Jay? Unfortunately, once you get to the viewing audience outside of the arena or stadium that you are in, nobody gives a crap about you. Like there's no excitement to watching him wrestle. The thing that gets me more than anything is he's been a single wrestler, singles for how long now?
A couple of years,
right? Let's just say it's a year. Let's just go ahead and let's say he's been a single wrestler for a year. How in the hell are you still getting winded? What do you do? I shouldn't say what are you doing? What are you not doing that you have not been able to improve being able to go.
I think
And I don't want to hear this.
I know he loves.
He comes down the crowd, and that takes so much energy. You're walking down a freaking. You're walking downstairs.
True.
I mean, it's not like you're friggin' walking up to the top of the Empire State Building.
Or maybe for him that is like the Empire State Building.
But it shouldn't be. You've been doing this shit for 20 years. How many years been doing it?
I'm surprised he doesn't have better wind. Like from experience, like you'd be surprised after 5 minutes how much he'd suck wind. But a guy in his shape should be able to keep his wind a little bit better. I've seen guys that are like my size be able to keep their wind for 20, 30 minutes.
Should be,
I mean, how the hell, when you listen to Ric Flair, if he lived the way he actually lived, or if he lived the way he actually says he lived, how the hell was he able to wrestle for an hour?
Yeah.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Also, Braun being champion, it'll open the door for even more for when Seth comes back to seek revenge. I think you're right. I think eventually Braun has to have a belt, because when you bring Seth back, Seth has to chase. I don't think just chasing the Vision to destroy the Vision is enough, right? There has to be another piece to it.
And that would make sense.
Make a lot of sense. But I just don't, it's I don't know. They have a lot of good I'm excited to see Dragunov back again. I enjoy watching that guy wrestle. I was bummed when he got hurt, and stuff like that, because man, I caught a couple of the Dragunov and Gunther matches, man, when they were, NXT, or they had NXT Europe. Holy cow, you would swear they were both going to die in the ring. That's how they were. So you can see maybe a Gunther coming back, and that being it's a step down for a guy who's a former champ. But those two guys have had unbelievable matches in the past that a lot of wrestling fans have not seen.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Drew beats Cody on Saturday. Needs to throw a wrench in the system and make it unpredictable. They need to make these shows emotional. Yeah, you're right. That's the biggest problem, Danny. They have become so predictable that you don't really need to watch to go, oh, I wonder what's going to happen this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they don't change the play. They just keep running the same play over and over and over again.
Right. And I do think, the cancellation of all the house shows and everything, again, house shows we know never advance storylines, but it gets people, it's like batting practice, right? It's like, but it's more live. It's live. It's like scrimmage games. It's live reps in real time in front of fans, right? So you have to, you still have to be on your, on the top of your game, stuff like that. But at least, you look at a lot of the, the bloopers or blunders or misses, whatever the hell we want to call them, that we've seen happen where people have gotten hurt and some other things have gone on. You didn't have a lot of this stuff when you had house shows.
No.
Sure.
Let a lot of guys cut their teeth on house shows,
Yeah.
Is even like before you go live, so hopefully they're at least incorporating some dark matches. I'm not sure how that's working with them cutting out the house shows, but at least give some of these guys some work off of the air, so that way, if they do come out and suck in the beginning, they can work through that and not completely tank the chance of being good.
I mean, I've seen a couple dark matches on YouTube that they've shown after Monday Night Raw or something like that, but not nearly like they used to.
Right. And I think, that's what NXT was supposed to be for at first. I don't know if they expected NXT to 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 grow where it has gone, but you had the same type of thing going on where now you see them trying to and I'll give them credit, they haven't done as much as I thought they were going to do. I mean, I really thought when Breaker came up and when Dragunov came up, all when that we were going to get a flood of those guys. We were going to get Ethan Page and Ricky Saints and Trick and Oba. We were going to get a lot of those. And when Mello came up, that you were going to get a wave of those guys. That the truth of the matter is if they did bring them, they got no room for those frigging guys.
True.
I mean, you could have say his name come up and beat Jay. Good old Joe Henry.
You can. I don't think I don't think you're wrong in what they could do. What they could do with him. I mean, he's a guy who an NXT he really doesn't benefit from an NXT because to me I think TNA is better than NXT. That's just my opinion. For stuff like that, but I don't know. They have to figure. Oh, Joe's still with TNA. I thought he left. I thought he had signed on with WWE.
They can't bring anybody from TNA in. So I mean,
again, to me, the only couple that you could potentially bring in would be an Obafemi, a Trick Williams. I mean, you could bring a Ricky Saints in because he was with AEW. I don't know if that matters or not, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess if you're WWE, you could sell it that way. Hey, he was with AEW. That's why we're bringing him up, to the big shows.
I just thought the match they possibly could have added to this would be a rematch of the men's tag team with Judgment Day versus AJ and Ray. They were talking about that on Monday night again. Pierce was before you had JD go up against Sheamus.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can see.
Well, that's why I was thinking, Locking, do you have, what do you can create something with an Oba but again, if you have an Obafemi come up and you're putting him on SmackDown, do you have him show up on Saturday? Do you have him interfere with the Drew Cody match? But if you're bringing Oba up, are you trying to push him as a face or are you trying to push him as a heel? Because that would be the direction you would go at as far as who he would go after, right? Because you figure if you have Oba, let's say a guy like Oba come up and interfere and he goes after Drew, well then there's your face and your heel. Oba stays kind of the face as he was in NXT. If you go ahead and you have him go after Cody, then you're changing Oba, to a heel.
I would think he'd probably stay the same as he is in NXT just because that way they don't have to rewrite him as much. Unless they were going to rebrand him like they have with other people in the past. Sometimes they'll bring him up to the main roster and they'll get a completely new name and gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see that happening, but I think they'd probably keep him same.
Yeah. So you'd have him potentially come up. Could also see no champion being crowned on Saturday because I can't see Bronson Reed and Breaker allow the match, especially since Pierce took them out of the Battle Royal to qualify. Ooh, that's another thing. Danny with the hot. So maybe we go without a world champ for a while. Now that would be a good twist. That would be a really good twist.
Yeah. Let's make wrestling great again. It's been terrible for too long. Let's put some like shocks and twists and stuff like that back into it. Remember whenever like the 90s you'd throw on your TV, like I'd have like me like Marty, like Marty'd be on one phone, I'd be on the other phone, one of us would be on Raw, one of us would be on Nitro, and
Right.
what match is on? Okay, cool. Let me switch back and forth. And we'd be bouncing back and forth to channels and like because there'd be always crazy stuff happening. You never knew it was gonna happen. Like it would always kick it up a notch. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
The you know the lack of competition, and I think it's because of TV. I think it's because TV has changed so much, also, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, to me, and we talked about it before. Like, I don't understand if you're Tony Khan, and maybe he is. I haven't heard anything that makes me believe he is, but maybe in some, in some, some really dark rooms in the basement somewhere, there's talks of stuff of saying, hey, you know, we need to figure out a way to get on popular apps or get on TV.
Hmm.
Get on cable TV. I know cable TV is dying. I get it, you know. Um, but you would think they would try and do something to where people aren't having to pay, you know, as much. We've said it before. If to get the whole package of WWE, you know, it costs a pretty damn good penny,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah,
Oh, me too, man.
you got that right every month. Yep.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
You didn't go ahead and miss it, and on Monday nights you were, previous channel, just,
Yep.
going back and forth, with it and stuff.
Damn it, what do you mean I miss cement going in a Corvette? Like, like you never know what's going to be on the other channel. It's what's incredible.
Right. I mean, WCW, Ted Turner and those guys, or Eric Bischoff and Hulk, they forced Raw to go live. Half the time, Nitro ended on a cliffhanger and never told you what happened. That's true. You know what I'm saying? When you think about WCW forced Raw to change to a live television program.
Yep. They kept giving the results.
Right. They found out they had a mole on the inside who kept feeding them the results and everything. And sometimes it didn't work out. When they told them that Mick Foley was,
Yep.
Mick Foley was going to win a champion, a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, he's going to win his first title ever." And people changed the channel. But
That one backfired on him.
yeah, that one bit them in the ass. Stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Rick Rude, yeah. First show went, wow, Bad Blood 97. Wow.
Yep.
Very cool.
And now just a heads up, if anybody didn't see it, IRS is on hospice now.
Really?
Yeah, I did say that. And that's why they say Bo, Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas is his son.
Yeah.
And that's why he hasn't been around that much. You haven't seen him with the Wyatt Six.
Well, that makes sense. Like, I'd probably want to be with my dad, too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It's weird in that I gotta believe a lot of people, and I was one of them. WWE was good, but when AEW started, and I know AEW's been around for a while now, but you figured at the first year, maybe 2 years, but you would have thought like by year 3, it would have been, I don't think it would have been like the Monday Night Wars, because I don't think AEW would ever go. I don't know if they would dare try and go head to head with the WWE.
Right.
But I think for me personally, I thought WWE would get better,
You would
not
think,
get worse.
Yeah.
but I agree with you guys. You do need the you need that competition like you have with WCW, and you don't have that with AEW at all.
I think
No, and
AEW is happy just being an alternative.
yeah, and AEW has some good talent.
Just
You know,
not big.
they have some good talent. I mean, I think Tony Khan is just. I think I think Tony Khan is not as good as Vince McMahon, but I think Tony Khan is in that mold of when, it was just Vince, right? And everything, was around, done, Vince and Vince, or as the
Mhm.
guys call him, the old man, stuff like that. And you know, I think if Tony got a little more help, it could help him.
Imagine if Vince decided to go with AEW. There's been talk of him wanting to start another wrestling company.
That'd be cool. How
Fight
many
on.
people would just run to Vince? Like I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you work for WWE and you feel like these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about or what they're doing, like the book is terrible.
AEW has been Punk left. I still watch because of my podcast, but it doesn't feel important. TK, yeah, that's what I was saying. TK, he just, I don't think he has. I don't think he has progressed as much as people would have thought he would have.
Yeah. I think it was a good idea, like to let the wrestlers try to, do their own thing, but you have to have some sort of rein on them a little bit to not let it get out of hand.
Well, you just got a new subscriber, Danny. I look forward to watching your stuff.
Yeah, I have to check you out too, Danny.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah, I don't think Vince would either. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't think I'll put it to you this way. I think if this happened 10, 15 years ago, like because he's in his 70s, right? I think.
He might be close to 80.
So to me, if he might have been, in his early 60s or so when something like this went down,
He is 80.
I could see him going ahead. What'd you say?
He's 80.
He's 80?
Yep.
Yeah. So if it was, 15, 20 years ago, and he was in his, early 60s, I could see him looking around going, screw these guys. I'll show them, oh, you don't, I'll show them what you can do and stuff,
I'm sure he's really pissed off the way the company's gone since he sold it, but
all right. Thanks, Danny. We'll definitely get over there and get to that channel also.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think, the WWE, it's great, I don't know. The thing that irritates the crap out of me, it's funny. It's like just to relate it back to the sports card hobby. Here it is, prices go up. The product is not that good. Prices go up. The product isn't that good. Yeah, we're still involved with it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You're on mute, Anthony.
We're degens in more than one way, I guess.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, man, this product sucks. This product is too damn freaking much money to go. It's not worth paying this much money for this product.
Ooh, they got what at Walmart?
Yeah. Hey, I saw blasters at Walmart. Everybody goes, shit, I'm going to my Walmart.
Oh, it's free on Peacock?
Speaking of that, baseball cards, they are doing pre-order for Allen and Ginter starting, I think, Monday.
Cool.
But this year, guess what? you don't get 3 hits. You only get 2. They're like, and I bet you they up the price.
Of course.
Dude,
Wow,
how
you had the Blue Meanie. Brought in the Blue Meanie a few months ago to a convention in our area in Massachusetts. He was a hell of a guy to work with and hang out with. That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
We have Tony Hansen on our podcast.
Yeah. Probably the best looking man in spandex you'll find.
Danny Anthony is a former NWA tag team champion under the name of Tony Hansen.
Yeah.
There you go. Show them belts.
Oh, there they are.
Bam!
Along with a bunch of other messy stuff on our desk.
So he's our resident expert.
I wouldn't call me an expert. The guy who got beat up a lot.
Well, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to tap out here.
I agree.
But
thanks a lot for everybody coming on. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
As always.
We'll see you next week. Oh,
You guys,
check out Anthony's page, Dialed In.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Tuesday night, 8:00, Dialed In podcast, NFL podcast.
Yeah.
It's 3 guys versus Chat GPT.
And we're not doing well.
And
Just
yeah,
saying.
we don't do that well.
Hey, maybe by the end of the year we'll have a Mike Tomlin 8 and 9 season or 9 and 8 season.
Yep. And we'll
That's
think
the
it,
best
and we'll get
we
it. You know, we'll get a mid-level draft pick, and we'll have to figure out how to work it.
Yep.
We're looking at more in 4 and 13, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, fellas, have a good one. I will
Have a good one,
see you
Ed.
all next week.
Yeah, he has done some changes to the original 10 pounds of gold. You know, but hey, you go ahead and you write the checks. You can do what you want to do, and not a lot of whether people like it or not. It's too hard to say anything. But hey, thanks a lot for hanging out, everybody. Have yourselves a great weekend. Enjoy Halloween. Don't forget, don't take any unwrapped candy. Don't eat any kind of apples or fruit that somebody gives you, because you never know what they may do to it. So be safe out there. And wear a nice costume. Don't do any of this trashy stuff. Have a great one, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot, everybody.
See you guys.
Arrivederci.